the show on,
Right.
and then you're good to go.
Okay.
And you're on.
All right. Welcome to the Epicurean Show. My name is Epicurean. Anything that you hear is the strict responsibility of the producer, which is me, and not the responsibility of riversideradio.com/life. This is the conception of a new show, and tonight I hope I can live up to this expectation, just like a mother with a new child. Maybe via the electronic airways, I can find a feeling of shelter and infinite rest within your being. That being said, what should we talk about tonight? If you have anything you want to talk about, you can also call at 414-935-2151. All things are welcome. And Michelle, 2951, 935-2951. And I will try to arrest your aggressions and make sure that you're thoroughly satisfied with the response that you receive. I have a guest sitting here tonight on the first show. And although you can't see her, if you notice the camera is pointed toward the street so they can see the passers-by. She's a little bit shy, but she's a profound lady, and I think that you might want to hear some of the things she has to say. So without further ado, please allow me to introduce you to the co-host tonight.
Good evening, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just orbiting the Earth and happen to be here tonight, visiting the show. You can call me Lady T. Thanks for the opportunity.
What is your professional expertise that you're traveling the Earth and decide to grace us with your company here in Milwaukee?
Well, I am actually just orbiting the Earth and just checking out the live experiment here in Milwaukee.
For the great citizen of Milwaukee, how will we be blessed with your talents?
Say cultivate, develop, and connect, recognizing opportunities and then connecting the people to those opportunities.
If you had something that mankind and Milwaukee will benefit from your services here in the city, knowing that we are raised to be somewhat ravenous, and very few of us are raised to be angelic, but yet we have sensitivities and fragilities. But we still like to ordain ourselves to be superior and leave others with a false sense of inferiority. And if you believe that's right, I'm sorry to disagree with you. I think that's wrong. Remember vicarious responsibility and the golden rule. The word is axiomatic. You fight for your rights, you also enhance the rights of others. What do you think about that, ma'am?
I could agree with that. And I often hear the concept of if you could just save one person, you did a lifetimes of work, which the one person you save is yourself because you recognize the opportunities to be the victim or to be proactive. And so we have the opportunities to be productive and prosperous or to sign on and become the victims of our circumstances. And as I mentioned, just orbiting Earth and just happen to be here in Milwaukee and just stopping by the radio station today to just observe, just seen some folks, felt the energy and just stopping in.
Well, being a mother, potentially, if you're not a mother, I think you would realize that it is indeed a profound pleasure that since the Greek word exists, quint is number 5, the fifth highest element, you give life we can. You can dilate 10 centimeters to have episiotomy, men can. With that being said, I would like to call you a celestial muse. That means you're made with the imagination with despair, you've mastered arts and science. And I think proper respect should not just given to my mother, but all ladies, because you're so deserving. Like James Brown said, it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing but a woman or girl. I hate to put the girl part, now I would rescind that. Wouldn't be nothing without ladies and women.
I totally get that.
Now, and I'm going to ask you a question about a woman. How do you see them in a proper perspective? So, would you give me your definition of a lady?
So a lady will be one who is seasoned as it relates to worldly happenings, situations, and circumstances. The girl would be the young one coming up, making the transition of what she thinks she knows to the woman of what she knows she knows.
I think. So, if I'm hearing you right, a lady can be a tad rustic but sophisticated. She accepts things because she has her own agenda. And where a woman, let me you be politically correct and says a demi-mondaine or demi-monde, that she have those tendencies. If it's wrong, she'll let you know right now. We're not doing it like this. So I have respect for all ladies, but I even respect a woman even more because she's straightforward, no nonsense, no placating, just get down to business at hand. Come to me straight, but don't placate me. Then we'd be fine.
That would definitely be a difference between a woman and a woman and a lady. That would definitely be the difference. The woman is just again more seasoned than the lady, whereas the girl is less seasoned than the lady. So it is a evolution of development.
A resurrection rose waiting to full manifestation of blossom. Wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
So let's get to the point oxymatic. In your travels, I like to believe you engage in vicarious responsibilities the way you carry yourself, because you also says to me that one picture is worth 1,000 words, and one word is worth 1,000 pictures, because people don't hear what you say, they emulate what they see you do, and this is how we grow. Then we add our own dimensions with it and come with a brand new concept, because whether we know it or not, we emulate Rome. They realize that either Tower of Babel or Babylon, it wasn't built in one day, but it was totally deteriorated in one day because it got totally obnoxious, surreptitious, and condescending. And then she stepped in and said, I got to do something about this to make all playing field level because something is wrong with this. And the same thing about life. If we allow ourselves to be so perverse in nature that all we think about is our id, induce fickleness, existentialism, and try to make sure all our people or all the people whom we contact with, I can existentialize, which is so morbid. Everyone you encounter would be their day of infamy because, plainly put, you're just an ass. And we all have been there, some to greater degrees than others. We all have anomalous degrees than others. And when I see people say, oh my God, he have manias, well, so do you. But I said, sir, what about your 4 basic personalities? He said, what are you talking about? I said, all right, let's get a quadrant of 4. Let's talk about caloric, phlegmatic, sinuine, and melancholy. Now, what can you take from each quadrant? And how much can you subtract from 100 to allow you to function complete? That's the point. But then you get into 3 gamuts of life. There's intellectual stimulation without manipulation, exploitation. There's 1 gamut. Remember, there's 3 trimesters to life. Then you got related things of interest. Walking in the park, holding hand, silly things, playing like children, making snow angels, etc. Now, if you meet someone, you have to say to that person, wait a minute, we're sitting at this mirror contract, which is vis-a-vis, each have the mutual input to make sure that we're on the same plane. And as you sit and begin to talk to this person, you find out the intellectual worth. Let's say 0 is low and 10 is high. And the person actually says, Mary, for lack of better words, what do you think of our intellectual vis-a-vis? She might say 50%. Then common sense would tell you, if I give you 50%, you're somewhat iffy. How she could be sensitive to my needs as a human being, holding my hand, walking in the park. It's all about you and not about me. What he has done himself is put himself in a lower quadrant because nobody can function off of 50% of anatomy. The third gamut of life is which is sexuality. She's saying being with you is a hit or miss because you're more concerned about yourself than me. So there's no way that you could ever satisfy me. It's all about you. So what I'm saying is this. If you find somebody that you can have intellectual accord with, to rest your intellectual aggression, to get straight to your hypothalamus and understand the word pheromones about watching your idiosyncrasies and your semantics and your brick-archaeology, then you might get this person. Then you can talk about your performing arts or whatever you like to do, theater, movie, camping, etc. Then you say, oh my God, I like to do the same thing. That's an 8. What this person has actually said to you in essence, you can satisfy me 80% will even touch me because it's all in the mind. If you can't get that first, you can't get no place else.
True that.
That's the two gamuts of life. The third one is sexuality. Has to do with the 4 basic personalities. You see? It goes back to dominion, thrones, and principalities. That's one gamut of life, which is Satan. But then you got the others, 6th position in the celestial hierarchy will always defeat him because he can't defeat twice as many as he. That's life as well. And we think life is complicated. It's not complicated if we make it that way. Let's talk about a rose. It's known as the rose of Jericho or the resurrection rose. It is dead, but you put some water and it comes back to life. Through proper nurturing, no matter how catastrophic you've been put in a pit, how long you've been held down. But if you meet someone that can spark life in you, that you allow to know that you're trying to not manipulate, exploit you, or have sticky fingers, you can begin to blossom. And there's nothing more beautiful in life when you realize yourself, I went through resurrection, I'm full of manifestation, and begin to blossom. Then you can smell the roses. You can see the in the rainbow, there's your pot of gold. Literally, because the gold is you.
Understood.
Now, have you found your pot of gold?
I'm still in the
Excuse me.
rain phase. Still raining. So we don't have a rainbow.
Where's the rainbow?
So you can see the rainbow once the rain stops. So we're still in the rain phase.
So in life, each life of the rain must fall, but when the rain stops, what do you find?
Well, again, at this stage, it's still the rainy season, so we don't have a rainbow. So we haven't gotten to that level of existence to be able to recognize the rainbow to get to the pot of the gold.
So, if I'm understanding you right, sometimes life is so perplexing, deal us a hand, it precludes us from actually seeing that we should be seeing. We become bogged down in lethargy and retard our growth.
Delayed growth. I would say it would be more of a delay of the growth because after the rain comes the sun to dry up, so we don't drown as we're developing.
Question. There's joke, probably heard it many times. There's a gentleman and his wife, and it's raining, and she bring about the rain. And they live in a 40-foot floodplain. And it started to rain. The water came up to the porch. His wife says, honey, I'm kind of worried. Pretty soon it's coming in the house and the Coast Guard come by. I says, sir, you live in a 40-foot floodplain. Your property is only 32 feet. You can't drink 8 feet of water. He says, I'm waiting on God. So, first time, the water gets up to the second floor. His wife says, honey, I got to get out of here. He says, okay. Along come the Coast Guard. He took his wife. He says, come on, sir. You can't make it. He said, I'm waiting on God. And he goes before Gabriel. He says, Gabriel, how come God didn't come to get me? He says, I sent him 3 times. Do you have a game called baseball and football? What does happen when you strike out 3 times? What happens when you get 3rd and 10 and you don't make it? You got to punt the ball. Didn't you realize it's time for you to go? See, but since you had not faith of a mustard seed, you can't come here. So have faith. They didn't have to come. You never question why did they come? Why would they go through the danger and perils to come and get you? You was wrapped up so much in yourself you can see the beauty around you. That old phrase, wake up and smell the roses. Ha ha ha, there we go.
How about that? What a concept.
But that's life. Sometimes we are dealt a hard blow, but I disagree with that. It's once again lack of your preventive maintenance. Now that took place. Lack of your preventive maintenance. Rome wasn't built until it was. How is it possible that society at large can make so many demands on a professional, especially your doctors, but when it comes to you, you don't have the same degree of professionalism? It's all subjective instead of objective. And when will society will learn the doctor who is self for a patient is a fool because it's not adhere to reality. It's all subjective, not objective. That means one thing: you have to change, and change is hard to make.
Absolutely, if not impossible.
So, where's your change? Not being a Messianic Jew, I'm not supposed to know this, but yet still, the scripture didn't mention. So, and Ezekiel is the father of Messianic age, but let me say this. If I'm interpreting you right, there will come a time in the very near future that you will look into a mirror and you see full manifestation of blossom and childless things you've put away. But how long? Not long.
Absolutely. What it is is a transition. You know, like the butterfly starts off as the caterpillar, and then it makes its orbit into the air. So it's a transformation stage, and then just being aware that there is time to change. I don't know if you've ever seen a dog chase its tail, but it is worse when the tail has been cut. So it's a short tail, so the dog never ever catches up with it. And just understanding that, having an understanding of that, being exposed, help to get to that growth level of making a transition.
Now, sitting here talking to me, and I do believe there's some young ladies out there probably listening to you, describe full manifestation of blossom, as I would call it. And realizing some of those ladies out there at night is in think it says most eloquent in Isaiah, "Terror at night, joy cometh in the morning." You might go to bed weeping, but you shall wake up smiling.
You said it best.
Tell them how to do that. So it's easy for a man to say this, but when the head comes from a lady, then they say, "Oh my God, she's been there and done that." So we can relate to her.
Well, the thing is nothing lasts forever. Change is guaranteed, and so it may not. The sun may not come up tomorrow, but you know it's coming at some point in time, and it is a matter of tuning into yourself so that you're aware of who you are and what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and then connecting yourself with people who can support and balance those strengths as well as those weaknesses, so that you can stand and have the strength. So you may have to tap to the larger being, which is the society. Which, whoa, that's how we end up where we are.
So if I hear
with
you
the
correctly,
tears.
excuse me, go ahead and continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was done. I was just saying that tapping into society is where we end up where we are with the tears.
Okay. So if I hear you correctly, is that keep a healthy perspective on life, and remember, all people you encounter, they are not the same, and it's a bad character trait to judge others as you have once been treated by someone that is not the picture that he can't even relate to, or she. I'm trying to be inclusive as well, and because I notice in traveling my journeys that people have a tendency to categorize people by the things that's happened in the past and to let the person stand on his own individual merit or her, and that can make the situation much better. But when you have this excess baggage it brings with you, somewhere along the way, I do believe that one should do some introspection before they allow themselves to engage. They can toss all the garbage out because say it's done, let it go. But in doing that, you must take care of your mind as well. You can throw away all the material things, but if you're holding on with emotional attachment, then that's going to be catastrophic for the next relationship encounter. Because no matter what he or she does, you're always being surreptitious and cunning. Oh my God, I see his character trait. This is what I'm doing. This is what they're doing, and you're making a catastrophic mistake.
Well, part of it goes back to what you had mentioned as it relates to the difference between a girl, a lady, and a woman. You have to know what stage you are so that you'll be able to progress and or know what tools to use. Because you work hard as opposed to smart when you're working to unscrew something, but you're using a hammer. And so
Well,
you
I'll take it.
so
So like
you
they say,
must
gypsy tool, huh? Of all else, like you grab a sledgehammer and believe me, it'll work. And I used to say to them smart like, it must be one hell of a tool maker. Till you can take an anvil and a sledgehammer and make a yoni. That's a bad piece.
How about that?
It's a bad piece.
That is indeed.
Oh my God, this is interesting because men can sit around. The great senator from South Carolina. Let's talk about marijuana for a minute. He made this statement on the Senate floor. Those crazy bastards will never smoke marijuana in my state. Yeah. And I says, how interesting. But he forgot about the Mick Jack Daniels there. I can tell you what I think, but that doesn't necessarily mean it should apply to you. If we're in a relationship together, let's sit and talk about these issues. But you got to have an open mind. It can't be one-sided. You got to have an input. The same way society is not as a majority and not a minority. When they're the majority because they send people to D.C. and from the United States. They says, my I wonder, I watched a news program and said, when will someone call in and one of the sportscasters, I mean, the newscaster would say, wait a minute, sir, you're the subordinate here. Society is a principle. What are you talking about your morality for? It doesn't count. You was put here to take care of their business because it's mandated by the Constitution. Now you come up here and says, oh my God, I'm superior. My morality stands. My morality stands. Go in the basement. I'm here. You have to stay there because I'm superior. My morality. That caused wars and civil wars. Uprising. Because I implore you. Anyone says, sir, ma'am, let's do an experiment. Won't you bend over for me? And she said, why? Or he said, why? Just work with me. Bend over.
Trust
He
me.
grabbed the pillow off the bed and says, let me lay this on your back. And many ladies might be listening. From your perspective, once again, in many different ways, because you're very eloquent, artistic, please tell them how to just let it go.
Point of departure is kind of like flow in flight, or you're going to be boggled down and you want to flow and the frequency of the light, or do you want to be bargled down in the dark, wondering why me? If it is to be, it's up to me. Not only me, it's me that I have to make the decisions. Then I need to again connect with those external forces, and in many cases some of them are internal. That's part of the connecting to me, so that I can begin to build when I am imbalanced. Because life is no joke. It is a trip. You do not have to fall, but you must stumble, and surround yourself around folks who can catch you or at least balance you. That's how I understand it to be. And it's easier said than done. But if it's going to be, it's going to be me. Can't count on no one else. Even if you have people who are there willing to work with you, if you don't accept the help, who the fool?
Salute. Point well taken. So what I can say is reach out and touch someone, make it a better place.
That's it.
Hello? River West Radio. Hello, may I help you? They hung up for some reason. I don't know. When I answered, they hung up. So.
okay.
Go ahead. glad to have you at this inaugural radio show because it's a wonderfully profound thing.
Wow.
Because a lot of things just come out with when you start out doing something, it doesn't, you expect it to go like this. The flow was fantastic. But being able to reach out and touch someone intellectually, because there's some people out there crying. Some people are hurting tonight. And we as men, we can say whatever we want to say, but to lift you up out of lethargy, you must have somebody of that gender that understand your social plight, because they've been there. This is you walked in those same shoes, which I could never walk in your shoes. I can have empathy for them, but I don't know. I can never cry tears of steel like you have. I can appreciate the fact as you tell me, but the catastrophic shock of having you a person, I could never know.
True.
So I think this is one of the things as men we are. We are taught how to be ravenous and not compassion. And I do believe there always must be compassion before greed. And never forget, let justice and mercy meet, and welfare kiss in love and peace. Then we can make it. We can make it. And when you find that in your life, no matter where it may be, you must have a God-fearing psychological heart with the wisdom to know the difference, to appreciate that you're found. But like you said, let your furniture stay at home. It's time to move on.
Check.
Because each room you go to in your house is supposed to change your personality. You out of the dark room, and this room it's all pastel color and it's beautiful. So let the sun shine.
All right.
That old song go by, let the sun shine, my, my, my. If I was a flower child, but look here, I would put some stuff in the pipe. I said, let me get at it too. And as long as you're talking about that, will you give me your perspective on how do you think?
Can I just add something else to the previous conversation?
Please.
You sparked something when you mentioned about, or I want to just say one thing that helped me when I go through my transitional times and not as clear and strong was the serenity prayer, in terms of being able to accept what I can accept, then know the difference of what I could not. So I just wanted to add that for those who are familiar with the serenity prayer, that is something that was very useful in helping to retune me so that I don't come out here and be something less desirable for than my ancestors desired me to be.
I have a premise about life, and I have daughters. I have 5 daughters. I have 3 sets of twins and a boy.
Wow.
And I often would tell them, you know something, you can live as a co-features, but you can't live as a drug abuser. I said, because human extremities, you can't eat is grotesque, but you can live off of it. But you can't live as a drug abuser, because they would tell you, come and talk to me, I'm your friend. I'm here to love you, and I'll be with you when everybody else is gone. I would never let you down. In your sickest moment, I'll be there to help you up. I'll make you smile, I'll make you laugh. Whenever you get down, you can always call on me. I'm right here for you. Oh, I'm gonna make you smile. I'm gonna make you do an Irish jig. And you can feel so wonderful. But when you get sick, I look and say, you poor pathetic fool.
Absolutely.
But I'm always your friend. Holla, and that make you feel good again. This is what I tell them. Be anything you want to be in this world, but understand something. Never be a testosterone casualty. Once you get your paperwork in order, and you assume it come laude, if you want to go out there and be with a million men, so what? Be like Maya Angelou, Oprah, and now I can make millions. Because all the ladies want to hear what I have to say about those million tramps that I met. So now, the reason why I call them tramps is because none was qualified to stay. And they thought they was playing me like a Stradivarius. I wink at them and says, you know, migration, you need to be arrested. And I'll select you. Now be about your work. Then you say, well, sir, I see you. He gonna go away with his chest stuck out, and he just like a death sentence. You'll never see him again. And I ask men all the time, I said, you know, sir, what makes you think that you can fool that from which you came? Scientifically speaking, her brain is larger than yours. She can dilate 10 centimeters, have a PZ, you can't. She had a floating pad, but you don't have that. So in actuality, how could you be superior? Are you stupid or just plain ignorant? So what I'm saying to you, sir, give credence and respect from that from which you came. Treat with dignity, humility, and respect, and who knows? In that house you may find many mansions. That's all you do is cultivate. Sensitive, listen, and things will happen. After the person leave the bedroom at home, and I put it on it back.
That's what's up.
So, the Yuletide season is up on us. Hanukkah's. So, what are your plans for this festive season?
Well, to me, because I did not die at birth and was not shot down or gunned down in any battles, every day is a holiday
Don't you know?
that I wake up. I'm going to celebrate. And I perceive the holiday season and, yeah, holidays is a way to go ching ching. And it's not coming to me.
I have a friend, and I disagree with the premise sometimes. And one day the friend told me, says, you know what? That's what God put, let me know a fool like you because you got my back. I said, isn't that amazing? I said, but I believe God allows those who help themselves. See, because you need to be prepared for all eventualities. And if you walk out in the streets, it's dangerous times. And you have to be prepared, and who knows? Maybe God put that fool in your way that says, you have my charter, because the last woman or women that he accosted, they wasn't qualified. But now you have the tools. Send him to Satan, and I'm going to make sure he suffers. And I try to tell women this all the time. Wait a minute now. Look at the statistics. So what are you telling me? Where's your pistol? And sometimes I see him walking the street. I said, lady, where's your pistol? I don't know. I said, yeah, you stupid, just plain crazy. What's wrong with you? I said, now, I'm not being crass, but stop being hot dog and chili. I says, didn't you see what happened to Spitzer in New York City? She's got the same thing, and she's making $5,000. Not that I'm advocating prostitution, but I'm going to tell it to you like this. If I was a woman, personally speaking, how are you going to take me to McDonald's and say, let's go home and go to bed? Are you stupid? No, back off. And by the way, how could you be with me and my bills has not been paid? You want 20% of me? That's nothing. Why can't you just wait and be kind? And let the sun shine. Oh my God. That's all right. That's all right. I like that a lot. That's all right. I like that a lot. And this is a wonderful thing about life, when you can. It's a wonderful thing about life. As we call it, we must be. What is that local area paper? But anyway, and this is one of the things that often get us in trouble, because we assume that we have all the answers and we do not. And I think everybody should know, if you don't know, charity starts at home and it spreads abroad, and doesn't start abroad and come home. And if you learn how to be angelic, wonderful things can happen to you in your life. But now that the 4 seasons in life is upon us, I venture to say that you may be in late spring, you never got to summer yet. So autumn is a long ways off, and winter you would never see until 40, 50 years from now. So that being said, what do you think about 4 seasons and how it relates to you in your life and your life journey?
4 seasons as it relates to my life and my life journey.
Taking the plateaus as you go through each decade, because when 1, 2 decades, a decade go by, then your seasons will change. He's having fun.
How about that? Well, I see me seasons as being childhood, being full of life, just, bouncing off the walls and sucking up energy and insight. Even if I say, oh, you're too young to know that. It's product of our environment. So that would be phase 1. or that would be me. Actually, I perceive it. I perceive the seasons different. I think wintertime is the end time. This is the end of the season. I mean, the beginning of the season, when everything is settled, so that life can be created. You're gonna inject something.
As you experience this season once a year, collectively, as the years has passed, how have you categorized your summer, your spring, your summer, your fall, and usually wintertime are coming in the late 60s or something like that?
So how do I as it relates to the years of time? How do I perceive my summertime?
You ever saw Mr. Bojangles?
No,
Sammy
sir.
Davis Jr.
No, sir.
It's like the principle of the
I heard of
ant
it.
and the grasshopper.
Aha.
The grasshopper's fleet of feet all year long. He run, merry way. And the ant says, I can't keep up with you. He said, I know. He said, but you know what? When it get cold and you can't run no more, baby need food and I'm going to eat you.
How about that?
And one day the frost come, the grasshopper can't move. I see, says, well, Mr. Grasshopper, this going to hurt, but the baby need food. And I know you're still alive. He said, but your pain won't be long. and this is life. And if you could ever see that, I'm dating myself. Sammy Davis Jr. did, when he had his television show, he did Mr. Bojangles. And it started as a young man in life and sprang on, he was bad piece. And kept on, and one day he's in late fall and realized things have changed. It's not like that anymore. The energy level is not there anymore. And at the end of this video back then, it was way before its time. You see it's kind of like fade away in oblivion. And it's a beautiful thing. And if you could find it on your Android phone, you see Mr. Bojangles by Sammy Davis Jr. the video. It was one thing. I mean, I thought about it when we was talking. And how people and time can change if you're willing to allow yourself to change with time.
I understand.
But some of us refuse to do that, and it's caused a problem.
Absolutely.
And it hurts me to know that things can happen in life. It is attributed to subjective interpretation of the present day situation because you are placing it in yesterday, yesteryear, which can't even relate to that time.
That's right.
So, once again, where are you at? In your late summer, or are you still in the spring?
I would say I'm in I would be in the fall season as it relates to the transition of life.
Oh, the appearance is very deceptive. I had no idea it was that far advanced. I thought it was something like mid to late summer, but not to fall already.
Yes, sir. That's what you call self-maintenance. Good
Very
self-maintenance.
Very good.
And so I see it as the preparing for the fall, to dust to settle, and preparing for the rebirth as it relates to the fall coming in and closing down, and then the springtime creating the rebirth as it relates to what I learned from my yesterdays. One thing, I cut off my hair. I said, why'd you cut off your hair? So it works better for aerodynamics. So basically closing the chapter of the yesterdays, applying the knowledge from then so that I can build for today and tomorrow, and being aware of the fact of, again, going back to that serenity prayer. It's a lot of needs in the community, but being aware of what is it that I can contribute and how it is that I can make a difference and what it is that I cannot do to make a difference, and being comfortable with that. And then again, surrounding myself with people who support my weaknesses as well as my strengths.
So, I know that you're telling me you understand your fragility and sensitivities.
Absolutely.
My God.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's a wonderful thing, once again. Being an expert and not I. Since I'm a diaphanous, from a diaphanous perspective, totally. Once again, relate to the ladies out there. Says, ladies, it's not rocket science. It's not complicated. But I'm sitting here talking. I didn't hurt you, or whomever you might meet tomorrow didn't hurt you. Only let that go because that was yesterday. It's not as of today.
But get the lessons. Let it go, but get the lessons.
See? And that's, once again, that's a hard thing we do. I was listening to a song the other day, and it was kind of unique. I said, Bobby Blue Bland, Sleeping with an Angel. I said, oh my goodness gracious, that's really something. I said, that's really unique. That's
How
really
about that?
Then I think of Barry White telling me this and telling me that. That's a bad piece.
Indeed.
I just think it's too bad that diabetes what he did, but people realize that how catastrophic that ailment is. And if anyone is listening out there that's a diabetic, my prayers is for you that when it comes to your ailment, that you know moderation and not overindulgence. Because eventually, if you don't, your criteria of steel will melt my hands like hot wax. And your pain would be so catastrophic. And it's hard for someone, I see news programs how people suffer. How devastating it must be for someone to care for that person and watch him go through that tyranny. And once again in life, if you've been around hospitals like I have, sometimes they just put the pump in the room. You call it euthanasia, but some doctors will tell you that when they've done that, why would you let the insurance company, the hospital deplete all the funding that has been set aside in the 401k for your families? This is stage 4. It's inevitable. There's nothing you can do because you believe in vanity. And it's called growth of unusual formation for all the ladies out there who's listening. And someone today saw 4 ladies outside of yourself, and one of them is dead. And that's a sad commentary in this industrialization, in this industrialized nation, on this one in the earth. Because most of them don't even realize that quick growth hormones is actually estrogen. When your body can inhale that estrogen, it turns to progesterone and cause growth of unusual formation and kill you. And everybody should know that Vanguard, and I'll say it this way, your lymph node is your police protection, your military. Once it has been breached, you have no defense.
Nan.
You're subjected to any and everything. It's been overwhelmed. Cancer is just like AIDS, let's for lack of better words. Once it breaches the lymph node system, you won't be long. So, remember, ladies, one thing for me to stay, to keep any disease of any kind to happen to your anatomy, just make sure one thing. I have it said like this, it might sound crass, but I can never come to your house and urinate on the carpet because you say, oh, you stupid, get the hell out of here. If that's true, why can't you say the same thing when it comes to your anatomy? Say, sir, this is holy ground. You got to put something on your feet, or you can't come up in here.
Hello.
So, that being said, we got about 7 minutes to go here, and the phone haven't rang one time. I guess it was the wrong number, but who knows? As time goes along, someone might call in one of these days, and we can have a nice philosophical conversation. If they want to come on down. It's on East Center Street, 31 West Center Street, East Center Street. You know the telephone number is 935-2951. Starting next week, I'll be here from 7 to 9. The camera's on the sidewalk, walk by, wave. You can have your Android phone in your hand.
There's a show coming up in 5 minutes.
Okay,
So
I'm going to closing on now.
Okay, all right.
Okay. As you heard, my time is almost up, and I want you to say this to you in parting. It's been overwhelmingly wonderful to sit here and intellectualize with a lady I think is a very profound person that has a grasp on life that is unique, I do believe, and whomever she come into contact with, she a part of wisdom, and I believe she lead them a better person and when they met her and they parted her company. And in closing, I'm going to let her say what she wants to say and say goodbye to you. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give my little disclaimer. I'm out of here. Please, my lady.
I just want to say I was not really prepared to be a participant, but definitely it's been a plum pleasing pleasure meeting and connecting with you and definitely appreciate the fact that you can recognize what the Spirit sent me to the planet to do. And that's what I mean as it relates to cultivate, develop, and connect. Just having a conversation and then being able to make the connections. And then for the sisters who are out there listening, he mentioned about preserving your body. And we heard this before. We are what we eat, literally. We need to get off our American diet and learn how to eat meat free. It's okay to eat some meat, but we need the raw green vegetables because that's our medicine. And then the GMOs and the organic, that's a whole nother conversation. But the main thing is to get the green in us so that we can have the life. Say the cow don't eat the corn, that's what they give it. The cow eat the grass. We need to go.
Charismatic mutes, and indeed a pleasure. Let me say this in closing, ladies and gentlemen, out in society at large. Compassion. Show love, compassion, understanding, and you can make it a better place. Let us walk with each other. Let us walk side by side. Hold each other's hand and around each other's shoulder. Then we'll know we have dignity by our love. We can never be surreptitious or condescending because we show unconditional love with a God-fearing psychological heart with the wisdom to know the difference. This is the Epicurean saying good night. See you next week on the radio.
Thank you. Hearing